So apologies for the different setup, I am staying away from home at the moment. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create this mesh stitch as I have on this infinity scarf that I'm currently making. I'm just using this pale orange yarn from my stash. I think I got it from the works or something. I will also be using a 4mm crochet hook. So to start off, you just want to make a slip knot and put that onto your hook, tighten it but not too much. Then we're going to grab our working yarn and you're going to chain any even amount of stitches. It always has to be even for this one. So I'm just going to chain 14. And you always just want to double check that you have an even amount of stitches. Okay, so next you want to either put a stitch marker into that last chain that you've done, or just hold on to it so you know where it is, and you're going to chain 3 to make our first double crochet, and then you're going to go back to where that stitch was, so this one, and you're going to skip that stitch that you were just holding on to, wrap your hook and double crochet in the one next to it. So let me just show you that again. So count 1, 2, 3. There's our little one that we were holding on to, and you want to go into that next one with a double crochet. There we go. So that sort of creates our first little hole for our mesh stitch. Next you want to just chain 1, wrap our hook as if we're going to double crochet. Ignore this stitch because this is the one that we've just worked into, so be careful not to fall in the trap of that big hole that forms here. So we want to skip the next stitch and go into this one. Skip that one, go into the next one and complete a double crochet and then chain 1 again. So we want to wrap our hook to double crochet, skip 1 stitch and go into the next and complete a double crochet, then chain 1, wrap our hook, skip the next stitch, go into the next one, double crochet, chain 1, wrap our hook, skip the next stitch. So we're going into that second stitch away from our last stitch, double crochet and chain 1, and then we're going to wrap our hook again, skip 1 stitch, go into the next one, double crochet and chain 1. And what this chain 1 is doing is basically creating the little bridge between our double crochets so that they're not all stuck together basically, and that it matches the 1 stitch that we're skipping at the bottom. So for our last stitch, this is where it gets important, and unfortunately my first chain was a little bit small. So you go into that first chain space, double crochet, and then you want to chain 3 for the end of your row and turn, and you can see that we have our first row of mesh stitches. So I chained 14, so I've ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Kind of. I may have added one in there somewhere, but that's alright. So next we want to wrap our hook to double crochet, and see where that line is where we did a double crochet before. You want to go into that stitch that stitch at the top and double crochet and chain 1, wrap our hook, go into that stitch at the top, double crochet and chain 1, wrap our hook into the second stitch away from our last one. Oh. And chain 1 and continue that until the end of our row. So just to clarify, this is the stitch that you're looking for. It does sort of make this quite visible area that you just put your hook into, and that's why I find this stitch so easy, because it just shows you where it wants the hook to go on the next row. On this last stitch, we want to kind of find where we've chained 3. So this stitch about here, or another way you can do it is you can have a look at your stitches. There's one stitch, there's the next one. So always maintain that skipping a stitch so that you have those holes. So just put your stitch. The last one is always quite tricky. So let me count again. 1, 2. Oh, that doesn't look right. Yeah, so about there. Double crochet, chain 3 to turn. And then for our next row, just going to do the same thing. And what I like to do is I like to sort of get into the rhythm of a treble crochet, but doing a double crochet. So wrap your hook only once, pull through, and then I go 1, 2, 3. So that kind of, so when you do the treble crochet, you pull through 2 loops 3 times. And I just sort of get into the rhythm of doing a treble crochet, but only wrapping my hook once. And it seems to make me crochet this stitch a lot faster. Then when we get to the last one, it looks a bit, doesn't really look too much like a stitch, so we just find that second chain and double crochet into there and then chain 3. So I'll do one more row to show you, and hopefully by now you'll be getting into the same rhythm. So there we go. We have a little swatch of our mesh stitch. As you can see, it's quite airy. I've always thought it would be really good for a summer blanket. You know, you can get those hospital kinds that have all the holes in them. But yeah, I'm currently using this stitch for an infinity scarf because I've heard that it somehow keeps you warm. I don't know, but we'll see. So yeah, you have successfully learnt how to crochet the mesh stitch. I mean, it's pretty easy compared to how complicated it looks. Anyways, thank you all for watching and happy crocheting.